Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to this YouTube video. We're going to be doing a design challenge looking through your designs, and I'm going to be making my design as well. This was recorded live, but I lost the audio, so I'm re-recording this, and I'm just kind of going to narrate what I'm doing in Photoshop. But yeah, so the design challenge is in the Discord. We're going to try to do it like every week or a month, and yeah, so here we're getting started with the design. I'm using my live ink bleed template from my second design pack. If you're watching this, also my new design pack with Elliot should be out, so go check that out. All the details and stuff are on my website. So the challenge for those that are watching is to make a design based on your neighborhood, city, town, anything like that. So I live in Dumbo, Brooklyn, so I'm going to do a Brooklyn inspired design with some imagery from the area. So first I'm going to try to find a good font for Brooklyn. I'm going to be scrolling through a few different kinds. I think I want something classic looking for sure. A little funky there. Not exactly the vibe. Kind of cool. A little hard to read though. I kind of like this sort of like Western look, so I'm going to try to find, I have a bunch of those from some other projects. Yeah, so this one is one of my favorites called Zabar's. It's actually based on this deli in I'm going to say Upper West Side. And they have like a super classic looking logo with this like Western inspired font. So it's not exactly Brooklyn, but it is New York inspired, so I think it kind of works well for this. Now I'm going to kern. So kind of trying to get that letter spacing to look even between. And so the letters themselves also have those like spacings like on the Y and N. So I'm going to try to make it look like those, about that, like that width, so that it all looks like nice and uniform and looks good together. The O's are a little weird because they have those little kind of spikes on either side. So I'm going to try to do my best with that one, but otherwise we can get it to look all nice and uniform. Cool, now that we have our type, I'm going to start messing around with some imagery. A lot of the times when I'm looking for like vintage, actually like authentic vintage designs and imagery, I go on Flickr, so I'm going to do that in a second. First I'm going to mess around with some text warps just to see if there's any cool little things I can do. I kind of like the arch, gives it a bit of a classic vibe. And I really like the warps that they have in Photoshop, honestly, because it's not as complex as going into Illustrator and doing like custom shapes and everything, but you can still kind of get some cool effects really quickly. And I think it just like heightens the design slightly in like a really quick way. So I kind of like this twist one. I think I'm going to just tone it down a little bit. Might try out the arch again too, because it looks a little weird, I think. And then I really love using brush script for New York. It just looks like it's supposed to say New York. I don't know why. Like, I feel like a lot of the signage in New York uses this font, brush script. So it really, I don't know, kind of feels authentic in a way. And I've used it in other designs actually, literally with the words New York, so perfect. And I just make it a little bit smaller and tuck it underneath Brooklyn, and that's pretty much the type. Gonna try some sort of outlines on it and see if that looks good.
Still now I get this funny feeling. I've been fooling myself.
Cool, so now that I have my type and I like how that looks, I'm going to go grab some icons from my first design pack and kind of see if we can add just a little bit of imagery, some iconography kind of to the text itself, before we go through like the imagery of the whole thing. I really like this like cartoony kind of pop pow, I called it in the pack. I don't know, it just like kind of gives stuff a sort of illustrated retro feel, and it's pretty easy. It's literally just drag and drop from the pack. So I'm going to mask out that one side that overlaps with the words too, so it looks like it fits together nicely. And since it's got that ink bleed, since this template has the ink bleed kind of like built in, it should look pretty good like immediately. and should look like they're even like could be in the same style. So that's a nice little effect. I like adding stuff like that, like outlines and sort of shapes around text, just to kind of spice it up a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. Then also we're gonna try to add one to the Brooklyn too, because I think it could look cool. Just a little bit of like a hit on that corner to spice it up, as always.
I keep losing myself when defending us.
And then again, just gonna mask the parts that overlap so it looks like it belongs. And then boom, I think that's pretty cool. Just gives it a slight, you know, spice. So now we're gonna be finding imagery on Flickr. So what I like to do is, there's actually a lot of like vintage and like copyright free designs, photos, images. And all you have to do is search whatever you're looking for, and then there's a filter on the search that says no known copyright restrictions. And what that means is you're absolutely like, a lot of it's public domain, like from kind of public sources, so you're actually allowed to just use that in your design without, you know, attributing it to anything, or you're literally just free to use it. So there's a lot of really cool vintage stuff that I incorporate like elements of in my design. So I just found like a cool map of New York. We're gonna see if there's any Brooklyn imagery too. So here's me going to that filter that lets you filter by the copyright restriction. So we'll see if we can find any cool Brooklyn imagery. A lot of the time it's like hit or miss, like you have to scroll pretty far. It is definitely random because they're tagged with a bunch of different kind of random stuff. But for the most part, I will find like some cool imagery whenever I do this. And it looks like it's anywhere from like the 20s to like 50s, really. It really varies, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. So for example, yeah, this Manhattan and Brooklyn imagery, it's like a line drawing, so there's a lot I think you can do with incorporating it into the Inkbleed template. So this is the Manhattan Bridge too, so that's perfect. This is literally like 2 blocks over that way for me. So definitely want to incorporate that into the design. And there's even like an images folder on the template, so that stuff looks good as just an image. And so as you can see right now, it looks a little grainy because the image is like really light, so the kind of grain that I have incorporated into the template is making it too light. So what we're gonna do is just darken it. And so that grain is still there, but it's just, you can see a lot more of like darker colors and stuff like that, or some of the lighter colors appear darker. Sometimes I like to blur it just to give it a bit of a softer look, but I think for this one we're just gonna keep it as is. And that, like from a layout perspective, I think looks really good. Like it fills that bottom of the page nicely and has like a good kind of movement to the design where your eyes are kind of looking. So now we're gonna try to incorporate this map. And I think what I'm gonna do is select the lines and then mask everything else. Okay, so we're dragging the map now onto the design, and I'm setting it to multiply so that you can see everything that's happening like underneath the map, essentially. So once I set the blending mode to multiply, so I'm dragging the map now that we found on Flickr to the back of the design, and now we're gonna try to figure out how we can get it to look good with the text and everything, because obviously right now it's a little busy, but should be able to, if we flip it, get the lighter part of that image so it's not affecting that text as much. And since there's that nice line surrounding it, I thought I'd duplicate it and then kind of put the bottom portion on the right side so that it kind of has like a nice cool grid effect, and it also follows like the lines of the bridge. And I kind of just think like that right side needed some sort of like more complex imagery. Yeah, so now I'm gonna mess around with the bleed on the text, and I think actually here I'm pretty much happy with the design. I might try a few different things with colors. So that's what I like to do, is like once I'm happy with my layout and design and everything, I'll put some adjustment layers on top, just to sort of mess with the colors and see if I can get it to a place like I really like. So I think this one's cool. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bluer. I think right now it's like really green. Another adjustment layer that I really love to use is the gradient map. You can literally just change the colors in 2 seconds by like editing one value. So I think I'm gonna try to do like a slightly bluish kind of gray here, kind of that blue and white. It's like a nice bluish gray. Really does look printed now, and I'm gonna overlay the paper texture one more time so you can kind of see it, because that brightness and contrast adjustment layer I did, like you kind of can't see the detail as much. So putting it on top and then also brightening it again, just not as much, you kind of have a nice design. And there we go. That's the final design, I think. Happy with it. Came together pretty quick. A lot of the work was done by like those images from Flickr. And yeah, so now we're going to be looking through your guys' designs. All right, so now that I have my design done, we're going to be looking through your guys' submissions. So a lot of really, really awesome submissions, and I'm excited to actually go through these. We're also going to tag everyone in the description. So starting off first, we're going to be looking at Pow's. Of course, he went above and beyond with like the illustration, the typography, the presentation, like everything is like insane. So starting off, I mean, just incredible detail, and like, yeah, combining illustration and type really, really nicely. Just the fact that it's all painted too, I believe, is incredible. Yeah, look at that detail. The grain and everything is so nice. Amazing. In usual POW style. And then you have like the nice postcard layout and everything, so really, really awesome. This might be my favorite. Just the shadows and everything look amazing, and I assume also were just drawn in, so absolute kudos. Like, look at the serrated stamp shadow is just insane. It looks like so realistic. POW, you have to start selling like mock-ups or something like that, because these are incredible. And then also the detail on this stamp. Notice how the halftone is so big because it's such a small stamp. Really, really awesome attention to detail. Being able to use that design in this application is really, really awesome. And then just beautiful type, like the combination of everything. That custom Q, I believe, really, really looks amazing together. So amazing job, as always, from POW. So next is Parzival's. The design is for Sao Paulo. Really, really awesome layout. I'm actually like super blown away by the layout, the different size of the letters and everything, but still very legible. Really, really cool texture on top of it too, and also just the imagery and type, like everything kind of has a balance even though it looks like it's all over the place. So this is a really, really cool layout. And we also have a vertical and horizontal as well, so kudos for that. The detail on that lettering, was that in the original picture or is that drawn over? Either way, it looks very, very cool, and it matches like with the design perfectly. Also, really like the spray paint effect. It's sometimes hard to get that to look good, and like here it absolutely does. So next we're going to Aryana's. This is amazing, and I think this is a TikTok reference. Are you happy to be in Paris? Amazing. Are you actually in Paris? Because that's very cool. Very, very awesome texture on the photo. I think that's like the crosshatch or something, filter gallery. Actually, it smells like pee and I miss my mom. Amazing. Always love small text that's like a joke. Just for the people that are reading it. Actually, really, really cool texture too, because I think you have the paper texture going on as well. Amazing. And then I really love whatever font that is for we. That W looks really nice. I feel like it draws the design together really nicely as well. That little hit of red is like perfect, or orange rather. So amazing. I hope Paris gets better, because yeah, I've only been like one time for 2 days, so I did not really get the most of it, I don't think. So last we're looking at Anna's design, and I really, really like the postcard vibe immediately, just like the brush script, which I used in my design actually. Always like, I don't know, just immediately makes stuff look like a postcard or kind of like touristy vibe, which I really, really love. The imagery, again, you guys always with the textures, I love it. The halftone effect is really cool too. All the texture, even on the paper and stuff, looks really awesome. I really like the colors too. Like this purple and like ivory kind of color really works together with the red. So amazing. Actually kind of a similar layout to Aryana's too, with the text at the bottom. Red brush script, beautiful. And like, yeah, you got that nice landmark imagery, so I think it looks very, very cool. Amazing job from everyone as always. Thank you guys for submitting. We're definitely tagging everyone in the description, so if you want to go see everyone else's work, really, really highly recommend it. awesome designers. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think of these videos. Next time, hopefully it won't delete my sound and we can actually do it live. But yeah, amazing job. And join the Discord, please. Peace out.